It looked like an ordinary afternoon, dishes drying, sunlight on the kitchen floor, quiet laughter from the next room. And then, without hesitation, the teddy bear went into the trash. The same bear a little boy took everywhere. The same one he hugged every night. Something about the casual way it was thrown away made my heart twist. I waited until no one was watching and gently pulled it back out, brushing away the dust. Later that evening, I felt something hard hidden inside the soft stuffing, something that didn't belong in a child's toy. Curiosity slowly turned into dread as I carefully opened the seam. The moment I saw what was buried inside that teddy bear, the world around me stopped. My name is Marcella. I am 67 years old, and I've learned that the quiet love between a grandmother and a child is made from small moments, bedtime stories, warm soup, and whispered promises that the world is safe. I spend most afternoons with my grandson while his parents work, and those hours feel like sunlight. He brings his teddy bear everywhere, dragging it by the arm, talking to it like a friend. I never questioned it. Children cling to what makes them feel secure. I only ever wanted his world to stay gentle. I didn't know that soon. Something hidden inside that soft toy would shake the foundation of everything I believed about our home and the people inside it. Their home looks peaceful from the outside, but silence can hold tension the way still water hides depth. She tries to stay kind with her daughter-in-law, choosing patience over confrontation. There are polite smiles, careful words, and a distance that never quite closes. Sometimes small things feel controlled, routines, objects, even the child's comfort items. She tells herself not to overthink. Families are complicated and she doesn't want to be the difficult mother-in-law, so she swallows questions, choosing harmony instead. Still, there's a feeling in her chest that never quite settles, a whisper that something isn't right. She doesn't listen to it yet because listening means accepting that love alone might not be enough to protect a child. Little by little, rules begin to change. The child is told not to bring belongings into certain rooms. The teddy bear is taken away at odd times, then returned without explanation. The daughter-in-law watches it too closely, as if it isn't a toy but a problem to manage. She notices all this quietly without reacting. She doesn't want to accuse anyone or make assumptions. But children don't cling to things for no reason. That bear clearly holds comfort, and removing comfort is rarely innocent. She begins to pay subtle attention, memorizing patterns. Each new rule feels less like parenting and more like control. She hopes she's wrong. She prays she's imagining it. But her heart grows heavier with each passing day. She decides the best way to help is to stay present, gentle, and supportive. So she cooks meals, tells stories, and keeps conversations light. She avoids criticism because criticism can close doors permanently. Instead, she watches carefully, loving the child with a steadiness that doesn't draw attention. Sometimes she considers asking direct questions, but words can become weapons in the wrong ears. So she waits, trusting that truth has a way of showing itself. Peace, she tells herself, is worth protecting, even if that means swallowing discomfort to keep the family from tearing apart. She doesn't realize yet that silence can sometimes protect the wrong thing, and soon, she'll wish she had spoken sooner. Over time, she notices the teddy bear is more than a toy. It's a shield. Whenever the child feels overwhelmed, he clutches it tightly, burying his face in the worn fur. It smells like home, safety, love. She repairs tiny tears with careful stitches, promising the bear will always stay with him. And yet the daughter-in-law seems strangely irritated by it, watching it the way someone watches a ticking clock. The tension around that bear feels out of place, too sharp for something so innocent. She brushes the thought aside, reminding herself that adults sometimes forget how children attach meaning to soft things. But the truth is already there, hidden beneath the stitching, waiting to be found. One afternoon, while tidying up, she sees it happen quick, cold, and deliberate. The teddy bear is lifted, examined, and dropped straight into the trash bin outside. No hesitation, no explanation, just gone. Her heart jolts. She knows how much that toy means. She waits quietly, hoping it's a mistake, that someone will change their mind. But the bin lid stays shut. The child doesn't know yet. He'll search for it later, eyes watering, heart breaking, and she cannot bear that thought. Something in her chest tightens. Throwing away clothes is normal. Toys maybe, but that bear? No, that wasn't clutter. That was comforting. And something about the way it was discarded felt intentional. When no one is watching, she lifts the bin lid and gently retrieves the bear. Dust clings to the fur, but the familiar shape is still there, still soft, still loved. She brushes it clean, whispering an apology to the toy as if it can hear. She tells herself she'll return it later, after emotions settle. For now, she tucks it into her bag and takes it home, planning to wash it, repair it, and give it back with a smile. But that evening, while folding laundry, she hugs the bear absent-mindedly and feels something hard buried deep inside the stuffing. Something that does not belong in a child's arms, and suddenly, breathing doesn't feel so easy anymore. At home, she sets the teddy bear on the table, planning to wash it before returning it quietly. Out of habit, she presses the stuffing to check for loose seams, and there it is again. A firm, unnatural lump buried deep inside the softness. It doesn't feel like a button or voice box. It feels intentional. Her heart gives a nervous flutter. Why would anyone sew something solid into a child's toy? She rotates it in her hands, tracing the shape beneath the fabric. It doesn't move, it doesn't bend, it just sits there like a secret waiting. For a long moment, she simply stares, the room painfully silent as an uneasy whisper grows louder inside her chest. Curiosity quickly shifts into fear. She imagines the child hugging this toy, sleeping with it tucked beneath his chin, pressing that hard object against his tiny ribs without knowing. Was it dangerous? Sharp? Toxic? Her hands begin to tremble. She doesn't want to assume anything terrible, but she also can't ignore the wrongness of it. She sits down, steadying herself, weighing caution against dread. If she does nothing, the child stays at risk. If she looks, she might see something she can never forget. A quiet resolve settles in. Love isn't pretending everything is fine. Love is choosing to know, even when the truth might hurt. With slow, careful movements, she threads a needle and snips the seam she had once stitched lovingly. The fabric parts like a wound reopening. She peels back the stuffing gently, making sure not to damage whatever lies beneath. Her breath grows shallow. This is no simple toy repair. It feels like peeling back the surface of a lie. The harder object appears gradually, wrapped deep inside the fluff. She slips it free, heart pounding against her ribs. The weight of it surprises her, heavier than expected, cold in her palm. In that instant, she knows without doubt that this was never meant to be found by a child's innocent hands. She wipes away stray fibers and finally sees it clearly, a small, sealed plastic packet containing rolled-up banknotes and something else folded tight inside. Not a coin, not a trinket, money and documents. Hidden, deliberate, secret, her stomach drops. Why would anyone bury cash and papers inside a child's teddy bear? It isn't an accident. Someone planned this, someone who expected the toy to stay close, unnoticed, never questioned. The thought makes her feel faint. This isn't a household quirk or misunderstanding. This is a hiding place. And if something needs hiding this badly, it rarely means anything good. A terrifying realization crashes over her. The child had been carrying this everywhere. To the park, to bed, into public places. What if someone else knew? What if the toy wasn't just sentimental, but a container someone desperately wanted back? The thought makes her skin crawl. Innocence shouldn't be used as camouflage. She carefully seals the packet back up, hands shaking. This isn't simply about suspicious behavior anymore. This is about safety, real, immediate safety. She feels protective instinct rise like a storm. Whatever this is, the child must never be caught in the middle of it. She sinks into a chair, clutching the soft, empty bare shell, tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. Betrayal tastes metallic on her tongue. She had doubted herself so many times, convinced she was overthinking, yet the truth was literally stitched into a child's comfort toy. Her chest aches with equal parts anger and heartbreak. Who would do this, and why? She forces herself to breathe slowly, grounding her thoughts. Panic won't help, clarity will. Still, the shock sits heavy in her bones, changing how she sees every recent moment. Nothing feels ordinary anymore. Once the trembling fades, resolve quietly replaces it. She cannot accuse without understanding, and she will not confront danger blindly. So she stores the hidden packet safely away and rescues the teddy bear, making sure the stitching looks untouched. She decides she will learn the truth carefully, step by step, without putting the child or herself at risk. That means watching, listening, and seeking the right help, not rushing into emotional explosions. She has been silent before out of politeness. This time she will be silent with purpose, because now she isn't just a grandmother. She is a guardian, and something very wrong is happening under her roof. She knows that rushing into accusations could backfire badly, so she starts by gathering facts, silently, patiently, without changing her routine. She makes mental notes of who visits the house, which rooms stay locked, and when tension rises. She keeps the hidden packet safely stored away, untouched but secure. Every detail matters now: tone of voice, unexplained errands, hushed phone calls behind closed doors. From the outside, life appears ordinary. But beneath the surface, she is building a clearer picture of what might be happening. She isn't looking for drama, she's looking for truth. And truth requires patience. Especially when the safety of a child rests on every careful step she takes. With new eyes, she studies the small things she once ignored. The daughter-in-law becomes nervous whenever the teddy bear is mentioned. Her gaze flickers to the child's room, then away again. Sometimes she checks bags twice before leaving the house, as if making sure something is exactly where it should be. None of this is loud or obvious. But patterns emerge, quiet panic whenever control slips. Meanwhile, the child remains blissfully unaware, playing happily, trusting the world completely. That innocence strengthens her resolve. She cannot unsee what she now understands. The bear wasn't discarded carelessly, it was discarded urgently. and people only act urgently when they're afraid of being found out. She realizes that secrets this serious shouldn't be handled alone. So instead of gossiping or accusing anyone, she reaches out to a calm, experienced professional, someone who understands both the law and child safety. She explains everything clearly without exaggeration, sharing only facts. The professional listens quietly, then thanks her for being cautious rather than confrontational. Guidance is given gently. Keep the evidence safe, do not alert anyone yet, and above all, protect the child with steadiness, not fear. Hearing this grounds her. She isn't imagining things, and she isn't overreacting. There is a correct way forward, one built on truth, documentation, and quiet courage. Now every step must be intentional. She plans how conversations will happen, who will be present, and how emotions can be kept calm. She rehearses responses in her mind so panic won't take over at the wrong moment. This isn't about winning an argument, it's about preventing harm. She prepares copies of what she found, stores them securely, and keeps a written record of dates and observations. Not to hurt anyone, but to ensure denial cannot erase reality. The clearer the truth, the safer the outcome. Planning gives her strength. Fear begins to loosen its grip, replaced by quiet determination. Without alarming anyone, she subtly shifts routines. The child spends more time with her, baking cookies, reading stories, visiting the park. Simple joys that also act as gentle protection. She keeps the environment calm, never letting worry seep into her voice. Children feel tension before they understand it, and she refuses to let fear become part of his world. If something dangerous is circling their lives, then love will be the shield. She watches entrances, drop-offs, and visitors more carefully, always aware, always ready. Safety becomes a constant, invisible presence, a promise she silently makes and intends to keep. She knows the truth will hurt, but pain delivered gently can still be held safely. So she begins shaping the conversation that will eventually happen, choosing words that protect dignity while refusing to hide reality. Blame will only cause walls to rise. Calm truth may let light in. She reminds herself that compassion and accountability can exist together. When the time comes, she wants everyone, even those at fault, to face the truth without explosions that could traumatize the child. Her goal isn't punishment. Her goal is clarity, healing, and safety that will last. Discretion becomes her greatest tool. She smiles, she cooks, she listens, and she says nothing out loud about what she knows. Secrets built this situation, shouting won't fix it. Quiet truth will. She keeps the teddy bear clean and repaired, as harmless as it should have always been. She keeps the evidence hidden and protected, and she keeps her heart steady. Because when the moment finally arrives, when the truth can no longer remain buried, she wants to meet it with calm strength, not chaos. She may be a grandmother, but she is also a guardian. And she is ready. She chooses a quiet afternoon when the air feels still and there are no distractions. With a steady voice, she asks for a private conversation. There is no anger in her tone, only truth, laid down gently like fragile glass. She speaks about the teddy bear, the hidden packet, and the worry that has been living inside her chest ever since. For a moment, the room freezes. The daughter-in-law's expression shifts, surprise first, then something darker and unsettled. Silence hangs between them, thick and heavy. She doesn't accuse or shout. She simply lets the truth rest on the table, impossible to ignore and impossible to bury again. At first, denial comes quickly, rushed words, shaky explanations, claims that it was a misunderstanding. But panic leaks through the cracks, hands tremble, eyes avoid contact. The calm tone she uses leaves no space for chaos to hide inside. When she quietly explains that the bear has already been opened and the contents safely stored, the denial falters. Fear replaces it, not fear of punishment, but exposure. The weight of the secret settles into the room, pressing down on everyone present. She keeps her voice soft, reminding herself that shouting doesn't reveal truth, it only buries it deeper under noise. Eventually, the truth begins to spill out, not in a single confession, but in pieces. Financial pressure, poor decisions, a desperate attempt to hide money and documents in the one place no one would look. What seemed clever at the time now looks reckless, dangerous, and deeply irresponsible. The teddy bear wasn't chosen for sentiment, it was chosen for invisibility. Hearing this makes her chest ache. A child had unknowingly become a shield for adult mistakes. The daughter-in-law's voice cracks between shame and fear, realizing the risk she created without fully understanding the consequences. Excuses don't matter anymore, only accountability does. The conversation can no longer remain private. Others are brought in, carefully, respectfully, so the truth can stand in the open instead of whispering in corners. Shock ripples through the family like a cold wind. Some react with anger, others with stunned silence. She keeps the tone grounded, repeating the facts without exaggeration. The focus remains on the child, not blame, not humiliation. The truth is painful, yes, but the hidden truth is far more dangerous. Slowly, the situation becomes clear to everyone. Lines once blurred suddenly sharpen. Trust has been shaken, and now decisions must be made to protect the innocent. Tears follow. Not loud or dramatic, just quiet grief for the safety that was risked and the trust that was broken. The daughter-in-law finally stops defending herself and begins to truly see the damage. Shame sits heavy on her shoulders. The child, unaware of the storm, plays in another room, a reminder of what truly matters. She feels both sorrow and exhaustion wash over her. Love doesn't disappear overnight, but neither does disappointment. A wound has been opened, and it will take time and honesty to heal. The family sits together in fragile silence, trying to breathe through the weight of what's been revealed. This isn't something that can be fixed with apologies. So professional support is brought in, calmly and responsibly. Guidance is given about safety, legal implications, and how to move forward without further harm. Nothing is rushed, every step is documented. The goal isn't to punish, it's to prevent danger from ever coming near the child again. The process feels overwhelming at times, but there is relief too. Finally, someone with knowledge and structure is helping carry the burden. She realizes that doing the right thing sometimes looks frightening, but it is always steadier than pretending. Gradually, the conversation shifts away from blame and toward protection. New boundaries are set, clear rules are created. No more hidden objects. No more secrets tucked inside innocent places. The child's world must remain soft, safe, and untouched by adult mistakes. She watches as the household slowly reorganizes around this goal, counseling, accountability, and practical safeguards replacing denial. Trust will take time. Healing will take longer, but safety begins now. And for the first time since discovering the hard shape inside that teddy bear, she finally exhales, knowing the truth is no longer buried inside the seams of silence. Before I share what happened afterward, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Your support means a lot, and what comes next may surprise you. After careful guidance and many honest conversations, a clear plan finally takes shape, one built on structure, safety, and accountability. There are agreements in writing, supervised support, and regular check-ins with professionals who understand how fragile trust can be. Nothing is left to chance anymore. The teddy bear becomes a symbol of what can happen when fear and secrecy take control, and a reminder that innocence must never again be used as a hiding place. She doesn't celebrate the outcome. Instead, she releases a long, quiet breath. Protection isn't loud or dramatic. It is steady, constant, and built from love that refuses to look away. Healing doesn't arrive like a storm. It comes in tiny moments, peaceful breakfasts, gentle conversations, quiet evenings where no one is pretending anymore. The child slowly relaxes, laughter returning like sunlight through a window. Adults learn to speak honestly instead of hiding behind silence. Mistakes aren't erased, but they are acknowledged. That honesty opens space for real change. She notices how the air inside the house feels lighter now, how the tension that once followed every step has eased. Healing isn't perfect and setbacks still appear, but now they are faced openly rather than buried inside toys and secrets. And that difference means everything. Trust doesn't snap back into place. It is rebuilt in careful layers, transparency, accountability, boundaries, and time. Everyone now understands that trust isn't blind loyalty. It is earned through consistent truth. The daughter-in-law learns to seek support rather than conceal problems. She accepts responsibility while also learning how to grow past old habits. There are apologies, real ones, not wrapped in excuses. And slowly, trust becomes something sturdier than before, because this time it is grounded in honesty instead of illusion. She watches all this quietly, grateful but cautious, knowing that healthy trust respects both truth and protection. A gentle counselor becomes part of the child's world, not to frighten but to listen. Through play, art, and soft questions, feelings are given names. Worries shrink when spoken aloud. Safety is explained in ways a child can understand without feeling blamed or burdened. Routines become predictable again, and bedtime feels peaceful rather than uncertain. The teddy bear, now simply a toy again, is replaced with a new one chosen freely, a symbol of starting fresh without hidden shadows. She feels relief watching innocence return to where it always belonged, protected by truth rather than wrapped around secrets. For the first time in months, she sleeps through the night without waking to anxious thoughts. Peace doesn't mean forgetting. It means knowing she did what love required, even when it was uncomfortable, even when silence would have been easier. She no longer doubts her instincts. She understands now that protecting family sometimes means asking hard questions and following quiet worries to their source. She doesn't carry anger, only gratitude that the truth surfaced before real harm could take root. The house feels warmer again, filled with the ordinary sounds of life, and that ordinariness feels precious. They don't pretend it never happened. Instead, they treat the past with respect, as a lesson, not a shadow. Conversations remain open. Boundaries stay clear. If fear reappears, it is spoken aloud instead of stitched quietly into hidden places. The daughter-in-law continues her counseling, learning healthier ways to cope. Forgiveness becomes a slow journey rather than a rushed promise. And through it all, the family remains committed to truth, even when it is uncomfortable. That commitment keeps the past from repeating itself, turning pain into wisdom rather than silence. Life settles into a new rhythm, gentler, steadier, honest. The child grows surrounded by protection that doesn't suffocate, only shields. Laughter feels real again. Homes feel safe again. And the teddy bear, once a hiding place, becomes only a story, a reminder of the day courage chose truth over fear. She looks toward the future with quiet hope, knowing that safety is not a promise, it is a practice. As long as they continue choosing honesty, compassion, and vigilance, their family will move forward stronger than before. And in that strength, she finally finds comfort.